Hey all, Jim Kelly here, Next Level Coaching, here to bring your career to the next level. So, today we're going to talk about a less than fun topic. Unlike the fun topic of liking and subscribing, which is awesome, and you should totally do that. But, I digress. We're going to talk about PIPs, Performance Improvement Plans. It is a terrifying thing to get as an employee, and it's a horrible thing to give as an employer. So let's get into it a little bit, explain what it is, explain why it is, and explain the steps you should be taking around that. So, what is a performance employee improvement plan? Well, what it should be is a roadmap for how an employee needs to improve to get back on track to just be a standard employee and doing their job. At that point, then the manager should continue to coach to get them to go above being a normal employee to being a great employee. But that's again on the manager for that. There is absolutely a business purpose for PIPs, but there's also many bad actors out there. So there are cases where someone comes into a role and they just aren't very good at the role. And sometimes people we just let go right away for this, depending on the firm, or they might end up on a informal or formal PIP. Now, at this point, the manager should be, and they should have been for a while, devoting extra time to the employee who's struggling to, actually do the job well. And the PIP should literally explain step by step what the person needs to do to improve to get off of the PIP. Now, there are, people will struggle. Either they're struggling because they came into this role expecting to be good at it and they're not. That absolutely happens, and sometimes a person's just a wrong fit for a job. You ask a fish to climb a tree, it sure as heck ain't climbing the tree very well. That's not its skill set. You want it to swim, it's going to swim all day. Not a problem. But, and that's the same thing that happens in work. Sometimes you get an employee who it just comes into a role and on paper it looks like the skill sets match, but they were doing something slightly different before, and they come into this role and the skill set didn't match as much as you thought it would, or at least the systems that are around that process aren't working for the person. It happens, and sometimes it's a matter of, hey, this isn't the right fit for you. I think you're a right fit for the company, though, and we should be getting you over to a different role because this just is not going to work out well for you. And that's a hard conversation to have. It's one I've had a few times. And, if you are a good manager, it's something you bring up to your employee and you guide them through and get them to a safe landing where they're going to be successful and grow their career. Because that's really what you should be doing as a manager, is helping your employee grow their career. And of course, you're also making sure the work gets done, but part of that is growing the employees to be able to do the work and do the work better. That can be the case. Or it could be someone that is, struggling because they're going through things in their personal life that are affecting, their work. Could be illness, death in the family. It could be something that's affecting their mental health. And, if you have a good employee and they're starting to struggle, you should be having conversations with them to see what's going on in their life. And they might not want to open up to you, and that is okay. you are there as a manager to offer, not to insist. You know, you're not necessarily going to be everyone's best friend as their manager. It's a heavy hat to wear in that regards. I've been very fortunate in my career. Most of my employees have liked and or loved me. Not every manager gets that same experience, and I've definitely had employees that did not like me at all, and that is okay. When you're working with someone, it's not necessarily about liking everyone. It is about getting the job done. But and we're going to talk about the negative side of PIPs here, is sometimes it's being used as an excuse to get rid of someone. Now, in corporate America especially, it is difficult to get rid of someone, just for no reason. Like, even though there's many work at Will States, there are just as many non-work at Will States. So companies that are headquartered and spread across, the United States and globally, especially, are going to have processes to get rid of employees outside of RIFs or layoffs, which that's a completely different animal, and we'll touch base on that at some point. But it is sometimes okay, we're putting you on a PIP to make excuses to get rid of you and to document it, and that is the entirety of this PIP. It was never set up in good faith to help you improve. It was set up to, get you out the door. And as an employee, 99% of the time, you're going to know which one of those it is. If you're not performing well at your job, generally. If your goal per day is hit 40 widgets and you're hitting 39, okay, you might think yourself within tolerance of the widget hitting you're supposed to be doing. And that could take you as a surprise that your manager's like, well, you're only hitting 39. Okay, that's a odd case. But usually it's more like someone's hitting 20 or 10 or 25, something to that effect. Not, you're barely not making it. Just get a little bit better. That's usually not a PIP scenario. That's a coaching scenario at that juncture. But when you think you're doing well at your job and there's been no indication you're not doing well at your job and you're suddenly on a PIP, that is generally because the company is looking to get rid of you. Could be for various reasons, whether it is someone in management does not like you, definitely can happen, or it could be they're trying to open up a role for a friend or senior manager's friend, or they're trying to move the role to a lower cost area to get that cost savings. There's many reasons, or it could just be they're trying to lower the budget for the department. Period. The end, and not hire back. That could also be the case. So generally, first thing you should be doing when you are put on a PIP is first self-reflect. Is there a reason I'm on this PIP? Or do I feel like this is an unjustified PIP? Okay? That it's always a check yourself moment. Because you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Ice Cube has taught us all that. But, beyond that, it's then making sure everything you do is clearly documented. I had this conversation. Here's the transcript for it. because oftentimes the manager and or HR is going to want things to be on a call. And that's fantastic. Conversation always a good thing, but you always want to make sure there are minutes from them and that they are properly reflected minutes that are capturing those conversations. You want them written. If you have the ability to send external emails, do so. Go ahead and CC your personal email box at that point, because you want to make sure you have all the leverage to prove you're doing the right things. But the other thing you should be doing is, if you feel that the PIP is unjust, you should be getting your resume together and begin looking immediately. Because if it is not being done in good faith, you have to protect yourself. That is the most important thing. You are the CEO of your career. You are responsible for everything you do in your career. Other people are going to give you opportunities, but you are selling your time for money. And if you don't feel like this employer is going to be continuing to buy your services for much longer, it's time to be looking. Again, there are examples of good faith PIPs. And generally, before a good faith PIP, there is an informal PIP process where your manager has a conversation with you of, hey, right now you are struggling at, do, re, mi. And I need you doing fa, sol, whatever on up. But, we got to start somewhere. So this is the steps I need you to take, and if we're not getting to where we need to get to, I'm going to have to put you on a PIP. And I don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and, make sure we get the right foundation for you, make sure we're doing things right, and make sure we're building you to where you need to be. That is what a good leader does. And if you're not getting that type of support on a PIP, that is not going to be the firm for you going forward, more than likely. There are always exceptions to the rule, but you are always better off safe than sorry. Until next time, you all have a lovely day. Enjoy yourselves, and thank you all for watching.